Welcome to the Networking with Michelle podcast, the show dedicated to providing you with life strategies with a little bit of entrepreneur advice. Here we believe in the Jim Rohn quote, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Hey everyone, welcome to the Networking with Michelle show. I'm your host, Michelle Gomez, where we discuss life strategies with a bit of entrepreneur advice. And I am excited to be back. I'm actually going to wrap up this Q&A session today. This would be episode 3 of questions and answers. And if you missed out a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, I'll put it out there on Facebook, Instagram. I was like, send me your questions. And I did Q&A 1 on coaching and pricing. Q&A 2 was on business, marketing, networking, and branding. And here we are for the final piece. Overall, it's going to be on content creation, whether you want to be an author, a podcaster, or you want to write a book. I'm going to just tell you some of the things that have worked for me. And so I think this is just a perfect way to wrap some of these things up as we move forward. And just grateful, very, very, very grateful and excited. All right, so let's see, what do we have here? The first one, the how-tos of content creation, So I think it was either 2016 or 17, I did an episode on content creation and marketing and content marketing. And that's my whole spiel. And I'm going to have a link to that episode from last year. And I break it down. In my opinion, I break it down very well. So there's a couple of things when it comes to content. Okay. The first thing, and this actually goes into my 7 steps to creating an influential personal brand. 1, what is your core message? Okay. What is your core message? What do you want to be known for? What is your area of expertise? And then 2, you have to create a platform. And the platform, think about what is that mode of communication? How are you going to distribute this message? Is it through a blog post? Is it through a podcast? Or is it through a video, YouTube or Facebook? So you have written, audio, and I have visuals. Visuals for video. And of course, in my opinion, whatever you do, you want to create pictures or graphics in order for you to promote that on the social media platforms to complement your branding. Okay, so those are the initial steps when it comes to creating content. Now, there's a lot of emphasis of storytelling right now when it comes to marketing. So I'm all about tell your story, but tell your story with an emotional impact, right? People relate to you based off of your struggles, right? And they look forward to hearing about your success, the small wins. That's what that keeps people motivated. So tell your story with an emotional impact. And if you're like, well, I don't know what my story is, start with why. Why do you do what you do? Go to when. When did you decide to do what you do? Okay. So why did you start this business? Okay. What was the motivation by starting this business? When did you know it was time to start this business? When did you know it was time to leave your job and focus on this business? And then the last part is the how. How do you do what you do? Now the value's in the how, right? Because the how is the process. The how is what's going to make you different than everyone else. Everyone else is making t-shirts. But it's your story or it's how you do it that makes your t-shirts better than the other person, right? It's the process. It's how you walk people through creating a website or putting a marketing campaign or doing a video. The why is going to hook them. Your why, your story is going to hook them. And your process is going to keep them. That's why I believe the value is in the how. Also, I have this download. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff in the show notes. But I have this download on the types of content you can create. Okay, so I just walked you through your personal story. Of course, there's blogs, there's the interviews. A lot of people now are doing book summaries, right? Where they read a book and they summarize it and they sell that as a PDF or they do a video on YouTube about that. There's information, resource guides, webinars, white papers, your bio. That's a piece of content. Press releases, infographics. Like, I'm not a good writer, but I'm a graphic designer. Doing an infograph or doing those video reels. I forgot what you call them, but when it's time lapses on how you create the designs for your clients. All of that is content. And I have all of this listed on what I call 33 ways to flip content. Go from email marketing, courses, quotes, case studies, product demos, worksheets and templates, your presentations, speaking engagements. I record myself and I record myself via audio, I record myself video, I take those video clips, I upload them to Instagram. I take that audio and I put it on my podcast. Like, hey, I spoke here, listen to it, listen to the presentation. So you have your content, and then all of these ways that you can flip or you can repurpose the content. So I just gave you the perfect example. So if I'm doing a presentation, that's one piece of content. I can strip that audio, upload it to my podcast. That serves as a second form of content. More than likely, that content has been shared in my book, or it will go in a book. So that's the third piece of content. If I have video, I can take that video clip, upload it to Instagram and YouTube. That's the fourth piece of content. So you'll be surprised on how much you can create once you get started. Or, once you start creating content, how many ways you can flip that. And I don't know how, but it's what I love to do. I love creating content. And I think it's more so of providing information. Just really having that teaching spirit and wanting to help people the best way I can. Like, this is my area of expertise, marketing and networking. I'm sharing this with you right now on the podcast. And there's other things that I've picked up along the way when it comes to self-awareness, consciousness, and I'm comfortable with sharing that too. Now, I don't claim I'm an expert in that, but I have a story and I'll share that too. So to me, those are some of the quick, easy ways to get you started on how to create content. It's very, very important, especially the way with things are going with social media. You are a media platform. So you need to create. Once again, video, audio, or any type of visuals, as well as written form. Yes, videos on the rise, or videos the most popular, but if you're a strong writer, write, because your writing voice is going to resonate greater than your videos. And it takes a while. You got to practice. Like you practiced writing a long time ago, you're going to have to practice when it comes to video. Okay, so be patient with yourself when it comes to creating content. All right, so let's see here. So I'm assuming the question says it's written, now what? I'm assuming either your blog post or a book. So I believe in graphics. I wish I had that skill set. I'd probably save a lot of money. So find a good graphic designer or jump on Canva, play around with things. You definitely want the visual component piece, because especially with Instagram, even Pinterest, I don't spend that much time on Pinterest, but it's like we're scrolling and we stop when we see a picture. We stop when we see a video. Basically, we stop when we see something visually appealing. That's why Facebook started with those stickers, right? Because you're probably going to stop when you see a bright red background versus just a regular white background, right? So create some visual aspects to complement your blog post. Or even if you're writing a book, make sure that book cover is hot. Like, I think my Unsuccess Defined book cover, like that book cover was so sexy to me. I was like, oh, Lord. It's like, this is it. And it was an Amazon hot seller. And I think it was really because of the book cover, in my opinion. But, the writing is okay. I think I got out what I needed to get out within the amount of time, right? But the book cover, shout out to Studio 1816 Designs, was awesome. Okay. So, marketing before, during, and after, it's continuous. Marketing doesn't stop. I think in business overall, whether this isn't even about content, this is just about business. People tend to market when they're in need. People people market buy now because they need sales. When the truth of the matter is, you should always be marketing, right? You should constantly be marketing, and sales should constantly be coming in. And of course, when you write something new or you have something new, you're gonna market that a lot heavier. Gonna put a lot of time and energy and maybe money, social media ads behind that initially. But always be marketing. Always be marketing. Don't be afraid to post. I have my moments where I'm very aggressive on Instagram and I'm posting, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. And then I have other times where I may be posting 3 times a week. So it just depends what my objectives are. When it comes to Twitter, I post a lot more because the cycle is shorter compared to the algorithms of Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, right? So on Twitter, I might have my podcast interviews cycle through buffer, where it's always posting, okay? And don't be afraid to run social media ads if it's something that you're proud of. And now that I think about it, I'm so excited to release this interview discussing HIV awareness, and I'll probably put some ads behind it because this interview is so necessary, and I can't wait for that to come out. All right, next question. Let's see. Support groups. As I stated in the previous episodes, just finding or getting. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Hold on. Oh, no, I'm looking at the right thing. Okay, support groups. Once again, finding a good Facebook group, finding a good coach that focuses on your specific need. For me, I do consultations when it comes to content marketing because that's in line with your personal brand, right? Creating content, demonstrating your expertise is aligned with your personal brand. Now, I know there's a lot of author coaches out there. You have to be careful and be like, okay, once again, what type of coach do I need? Do I need a coach that's going to help me write my book, edit my book, guide me through my book, help me promote my book? So really get down to the nitty gritty of the type of support that you need when it comes to that Facebook group as a collective or a specific coach. Let's see here. All right, so now we're going to get into the podcasting part. All right, see here. All right, podcasting. The benefits of podcasting versus other social media platforms. I can't compare podcasting versus other social media platforms because I promote my podcast on social media. Think of podcasts, once again, a podcast is a part of your platform if you choose it to be. Like, how do you want to distribute your message? How do you want to distribute your content? I have selected to distribute my content through podcast. Okay. And then of course I use social media platforms as the distribution channel to market my podcast. All right. The process of producing quality content. Okay. Any content that you create, I think it's really about time. And that's why I put so much emphasis on playing to your strengths, because I know I'm not a good writer, but I think I have great content, right? So let me say this. I don't have the best grammar, but I have good content. Okay. So if you read a book and I didn't edit it, you may struggle through it. You probably get very annoyed. I'm Michelle Gourmet, but I would like to think my voice, the tone, the content, the substance resonates higher than any type of grammatical errors. And it varies. Everyone's different, to each his own, right? But that's why you need help, and nothing's wrong with getting help. So I think however you want to create the content, make sure you have the time to do it. You put a system together to help you structure your layout. So for me, when it comes to podcasting, I have a window, 2 to 3 week window, where I accept interviews, and I do this maybe once every 2 to 3 months. I accept interviews, send you the link, you schedule it, you get in where you fit in, and then in most cases, your interview will come out about a week or two after the interview because it goes through the editing process, right, which is about 2 to 3 days. Um, I have a process. Me and my editor, we have a process on how I do everything. The editing, the recording of the interview, the intros. He edits, sends it back to me. I upload it and get it going. Now, has there been some holes in that? Of course, right? And I have a lot to blame with it. And I'm sure my editor, he's somewhere in Europe and he has other things going on in life. But we have great communication, okay? And we just work with each other. But whatever you do, just create a process. Even if it's for you by yourself, create a process. Like today, I knew, well, this is a horrible example. I was supposed to record this yesterday, but had family friend emergency came up, so I had to take care of her. So I'm recording today. I was like, I have to get this episode up on Wednesday. Something else came up, but I'm sticking to my time, right? Creating the time, creating the structure to create my content. All right. Next question. How does podcasting add value to your brand? Podcasting can only add value to your brand if you enjoy podcasting, right? So podcasting is hot right now. Even when I came in the game, man. Okay, I've been here OG. In 2015, I felt like it was saturated. And I think lots of times when you jump into this industry or this opportunity, you're like, oh, no one's doing it. And then you jump in, it's like, oh man, everyone's doing it. Are you getting this advice from all of these, 6-7 figure entrepreneurs? And you're just like, man, if I can get a piece of that, or it's not as easier as they told me, and da 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 da. So I think that's what happened to me, and I had to take a step back, and I was like, they're inspirational, but they're on step 10, and I'm trying to figure out what step 1 even looks like, right? Because I'm buying equipment and whatever the case may be. So just know, when it comes to the word value, we always consider immediate value. I think creating a podcast, building and maintaining a podcast and or a personal brand, it's a long-term game, okay? Networking with Michelle has added value in the sense that it has set me apart as a speaker. So when I wrote my book, Network, Navigate, and Nurture, that was one thing that helped out. And then having that extra, like, she's an author and a podcaster. It's like, boom, baby. You know what I'm talking about? So, so I think that's been something else that's helped add to the bio or to my resume. Two, the second way it's added value to my personal brand is by the network, right? I get to interview all of these people. Half of the people I've reached out to, the other half people have reached out to me because they want to be on my show for whatever reason. And I'm grateful. And I turn people down. All right. But I'm grateful. And so it's allowed me to have this network, truly a network, right? Because I haven't been able to cultivate relationships, not even with 80% of the people. Maybe, I don't know. Because some people are actually my friends and colleagues that have been on the show. But there's people that I've interviewed and then I've turned around and bought coaching services from them. Or there's people that I've interviewed and they turn around and buy coaching services from me. So it's helped expand my network. It's also helped generate money, revenue for my business, short-term and long-term clients. And then I think, once again, it allows me to create content. These interviews or solo shows are my content. So whether it's the weekly podcast episode or the book that comes out once a year, I have a continuous stream of content that I'm able to produce and deliver on a regular basis in multiple forms. Now, I don't think everyone should start a podcast, but I do think everyone needs a platform. So once again, play to your strengths. Is that writing? Is that video? Or is that audio? It's funny when I look back though, because I did a lot of call center jobs, and I've had men and women in the past tell me I have a nice voice, and then, I would giggle because I'm goofy. But, there's been times when I wonder, like, man, I wonder if those jobs have set me up for this very moment. Because I never desired a career in radio, but here I am able to open up my laptop, plug in a microphone, and ramble. And I thank God for your life as you listen to me. God bless you. Yes. All right. Next question. Best podcasting platforms, free or budget-friendly platforms? All right, so I feel like there's some debate on this. I go with Libsyn. So Libsyn, Libysn, Libsyn.com. And I also have that link in the show notes. It is a podcasting hosting site. So similar to if you were hosting your website, Libsyn hosts your podcast, and it will distribute it to Apple, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and different podcasting platforms. I pay $20 a month, and Libsyn does this thing. It archives my episodes. As I upload those episodes, it goes out to those various platforms. Now, there's also SoundCloud. I do understand there's a lot of African American podcasts on SoundCloud. I didn't go that route because I didn't want to pay Libsyn and SoundCloud. Okay. SoundCloud is free, but it's really about storage. Either one is based on storage, which is the size of your episodes, right? And then if you're adding graphics with each episode, I just have the actual audio. There's Podbean. There's different podcasting hosting companies. I've gone with Libsyn. That's what I was recommended early on. I had a chance to meet them. I had problems launching my podcast. In 2015, I was at a conference. They were they had a booth at the conference. I told them my problem. They jumped on email or phone or something with Apple. I came back, my podcast was up and running. I'm not going anywhere because their customer service is the best, right? And that was my first experience with them. But even afterwards, customer service has been the best. I pay $20 a month for Libsyn. I have stats on where people are located, what kind of computer or not computer, but web browser, however they come across me. So I don't have the actual, I guess, psycho and demographics, but I know where they're located and some of the soft demographics. Okay. So I would recommend whatever you do, make sure your podcast is on Apple, because the majority of podcast and listeners are going to Apple and then Google Play. So you want to make sure you're Apple and Android friendly and anyone can listen to you. I actually had a conversation about this yesterday. So I have an Android phone, I have a Google Pixel phone, and I have a MacBook Pro laptop, and I have an iPad. And before, I had all of my podcasts on my iPad. And when I got a smart card, it was kind of annoying because both of my devices would sync up to Bluetooth. And it was just very annoying. It's probably a good problem to have, but it was annoying. And I tell you, when Google Play said we have podcasts, it was like the happiest day of my life because I didn't have to carry my iPad anymore. And it sucked because a lot of people didn't go over to Google Play, so I was missing out on some of my favorite podcasts. Like, they're still not on Google Play, and I stopped listening to them because I just want everything to be on one device. And recently, a couple of months ago, my podcast got on with Spotify. All these years, I've never had Spotify. And then I signed up for Spotify just to make sure my podcast is on there. And I still don't know how to work that thing. And I refuse to pay because I'm already paying for Google Play. So everyone has their preferred platform that they're going to listen to you on. And I just feel like you want to be in all of those spaces because you just never know. There's people that I've come across on LinkedIn and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Just kind of curious, how'd you come across me? And they're like, oh, I saw a YouTube video. And I'm like, oh my God, like I neglect my YouTube because I don't like myself on video. But they listened to one of my podcast episodes on YouTube, and I'm so grateful to them because they're probably like one of the 4 views I got, and I was probably 2 of them. So you just never know. You never know how people are going to come across you. So be mindful of that. Just make sure you're on Apple platform and you're on Android platforms. And all of it's very reasonable. So I said I pay $20 for Libsyn. I have my podcast on my website. I pay $30 for web hosting with WP Engine, which is an affiliate of mine. That is more on the high end of web hosting, but I think they're the best. I've had GoDaddy where I've paid anywhere from $5 to $15 a month on web hosting, so it's just a matter of preference. Okay. And then I pay anywhere for about $10 to $15 per episode when it comes to editing. So I'm probably spending right at $100, a little less than $100 a month on my podcast, from the maintenance and everything. And then even if I get one consultation, it pays for itself. Okay. So that's where I am when it comes to podcasting. Let's see. And so that pretty much answers cost associated to produce quality programming. Keep in mind, if you're going to write, do you need to hire an editor, to edit your blogs? Do you need, as well as your newsletters, whatever you prefer. Of course, if you're going to do video, yes, you can upload it to your phone, but do you need to hire a video editor? Any kind of editor. That can get pricey, man. I wish I had that skill set. That and graphic design. I probably wouldn't need anything else in life but food and water. But I digress. So, but just try to create a budget, like, okay, what are my weaknesses? Do I need to outsource this? Do I need to find someone on Fiverr, someone on Upwork, a Facebook group, friend, recommendation, and just figure out what's going to be best for you. I tried to learn how to edit. I was like, oh, this is not my ministry. I had to pay someone to do it. And it was very expensive. And then over time, started doing a lot more better research on finding quality people. And I was able to find the person within my budget. Okay. Next question. Is the podcasting platform as important as the content? Can it make or break? Or is content and consistency that's key? All of the above. All of the above. So your content, the quality of content is important. When it comes to podcasting, it is audio. So you definitely, I was going to say you want to have a sexy voice, and I was going to try to have a sexy voice, but okay. But I think you have to have the right voice for podcasting, and I don't know what the right voice is, but it's audio, so your voice carries. And I know when I started, it's real crazy because when I was promoting my book, I was pumped. I was a guest on other shows and I was pumped. I knew my stuff and da-da-da-da. And when I started my podcast, the first couple of episodes were myself. And please don't go back and listen to those. But those episodes didn't have any of the personality that you're hearing today. And I don't know what's going on today. Maybe because I had lunch. I need to record after I eat. But those first episodes, I don't even think I knew my name. It was like, hi, my name is Michelle. Welcome to the Networking with Michelle show. And these are the 3 A's of networking. But now, I don't even know what episode, 200 episodes later, 3 years later, this is what it is. I'm doing Q&A from the top of my dome. I can refer to other episodes. I can tell you who I interviewed and what I've learned and all this kind of stuff. So the quality is important. The content and the quality of content is important. And I think you have to have that voice. Just like I think if you do video, you have to have that personality. And like for me, if I do video, if I'm holding my phone doing a video, I'm very direct. I'm not that engaging. I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm going to cut that thing off, right? But if I have someone holding the camera, it's something about that person, right? That body, that human interaction, like, yo, let's do it. Like, let's record. Like, because when I'm on, I'm on. And when I'm off, I'm watching SVU marathons. Don't judge me. So I think it's just the vibe, it's the energy, it's knowing who you are, and that once again, you gotta play to your strengths. You have to play to your strengths, and however you get your voice out there, it's gonna resonate. Like I still read, I still watch videos, I still listen to other podcasts. So I used to listen to the Art of Charm podcast, which was led by Jordan Harbinger. Now, I don't know what happened over there. They got some things going on. Jordan left. He started his own show called The Jordan Harbinger Show. So I'm listening to that too. So I'm like, okay, cool. Art of Charm, they've been out for 10, 11 years. I've listened to them probably for the past 2 to 3 years. And now they have new hosts. And I'm just like, it's not the same. Like, I like Jordan. I like Jordan. I like Jordan's voice. So where Jordan goes, I'm going to go. Jordan can have a new show called Cheeseburger and Blue Notebooks, because that's what I had and that's what I'm looking at. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, because I like Jordan's voice. Never met this man, but I just feel like he has that voice for radio. He has that voice for podcasts and it resonates. So, and then obviously he produces a quality show, so I'm going to follow him. All right. So part two of that, so can it make or break? Yeah. So if you have my good friend Tiffany Williams, Twice Media Production, shout out to her. Oh my God, I'm gonna butcher this, but she says she does video, and she would always say something like, people can forgive bad video, but they can't forgive bad audio. And that makes sense because you can have the video, and I do this all the time. I have YouTube playing in the background while I'm working because I really want to listen. At the end of the day, no matter how bad the lighting is, I really want to listen to what you have to say. Okay? And depending on your personality and how cute you are, I may want to look at you. You know what I'm talking about? So with podcasts, there's podcasts that I've listened to that the volume is just crazy, it's out of whack, there's static. And don't get me wrong, there's issues that come up, there's issues that can come up. And it's just unbearable. It's like I can't listen to this, and I'll just stop listening. Sometimes I don't know the person, sometimes it's my friend's show. I do think podcasters are mindful of that, and they try to provide you with that disclaimer before, like, hey, we did have some audio issues. Or you might have that guest that they have earphones in, and the microphone to their earpiece is like dangling on their shirt, and they're always brushing up against their shirt. Or as a woman, they have on bracelets and bangles, and it's making noise. And that can be forgiving maybe the first few minutes or the first time. But I think if it's a reoccurrence of bad audio quality, people will stop listening. People will turn you off, and we have short attention spans. We will not go back to you and your show. Okay. And people judge me. Oh my God. When I first started, I had a lot of people on me when it came to the audio quality. I had a USB headset. I didn't know nothing. I was living in my mom's house. I was locked up and I was tucked away in my room. And my mom had tile. She had tile in her house, like all over the house. So in the room, it was tile. And I didn't even I didn't study this. I don't know anything about acoustics and stuff like that. But people were able to pick up on that on my earlier shows, Even this next episode that's going to come out, lots of times, or let me say this, lots of times my audio quality does vary based on where I'm at. If I'm in a different environment, if I'm in someone's office or someone's house, the audio quality does vary of my show. So you do want to try to be consistent, but also give your audience a heads up. Um, when things come up, like I interviewed Dr. Ruth Simmons, that was outside. That wasn't a planned interview, but it was me making the most of the opportunity. So like, hey, keep in mind, I'm outside, I'm on my phone, woo do woo woo. Okay. So part 3 of this question is, or is, let's see, is content and consistency. That's key. Yes, consistency is key. Consistency is key. The cream always rises to the top, and I want to see you at the top. Okay. Look, networking with Michelle show. I love what I do. I love talking to you. I love rambling and all the other good stuff that comes in between it. I don't have a lot of listeners. I don't have 4 million downloads a month. I have a faithful listen audience, or a faithful audience that listens to me on a regular basis. But I think some of the recognition I get is because I'm consistent. Some of the recognition I get is because I've been doing this for three years. There's so many people out there talking about what they gonna do. Screw your gonna. What are you doing? What are you doing right now? What are you doing? What are you preparing? What have you accomplished? And consistency is key. Consistency, it weeds you out, and it goes back to what I said earlier. It's I'm an author. So I want to speak. Okay, well, what's your topic? Networking. So are you going to choose, if it's between me and Layla, we both talk about networking. If you have a relationship with Layla, you're probably going to go with her, right? Cool, I get it. Now, if you don't know us and it's like we both talk about networking and I'm an author, you'll be like, she's demonstrated her expertise. Okay. Layla's an author too. It's cool, right? And Michelle has a podcast. Wow. Like, she's interviewing people and talking about networking. Like, it's just those little things that kind of separate you over time, and you have to be consistent to do that. And don't get me wrong, I've fallen off. I've had my moments throughout the past 3 years where I haven't recorded for 6 weeks, 3 months. Personal issues, Hurricane Harvey issues, not affected, but whatever, I always say that because I don't want people to feel bad for me when I wasn't physically or financially impacted. But I've had moments when I've fallen off, but it's like I've always gone back on. And then I do have so many episodes that are accomplished. So it's like, look, check my resume. Okay. I did all that rambling, check my resume. And that's what consistency is. It's really that check my resume, check my resume, Google me, reach out to my clients, read the LinkedIn testimonials and recommendations. Come for me because I've done it. I've done the work. The YouTube videos. I got over 100 videos on YouTube, So when they talk about overnight success, it's like I've been in the game. Right? All 4 years. But consistency and self-discipline, it goes hand in hand. All right. So what else? I think that was the last question. All right, some things I want to touch on. Let's see here. When it comes to creating content, think about, the topics. People struggle with that. If you're a business owner, think about your frequently asked questions. What do people usually ask you when you meet with them, when you get emails? What are your daily activities? What are your daily conversations like? How do you solve problems, whether it's within the business, teamwork, family, whatever? like all of that is, we're surrounded by content all the time. Please don't make it harder than what it is. If you read an article, maybe you summarize that article, or maybe you do a video based on that article, because inspiration is everywhere. And I don't want you to underestimate yourself. I definitely don't want you to underestimate your progress, because things are there. You just have to do the work. You have to do the work. People are not doing the work. You got to do the work. All right. And then if you're rocking with Michelle Gomez, you got to do the work. Okay. We have to do the work before we can watch the SVU marathons. It is what it is. And I know the work takes time, but that's the only way you're going to build and you're going to grow. You know, whether it's personal brand, company brand, content marketing, business, whatever you want to call it, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to put the time in and be consistent with the work. Okay. See what else? I think that's about it. I mean, things are always resonating with me over time. But like I said, you can always send in your questions, and I'll be glad to give you my opinion, send you, doing a video, doing an episode, or sending you links that may work, that you can go back and listen to, and hopefully that will help you. I just want to thank everyone that submitted a question. This was fun. I need to do this more often. And it keeps me on my tippy toes, so I'm always grateful. A couple of things before I wrap up. I'm actually doing consultations. I do have some sessions open. So if you go to michellegomez.com, if you send me an email, info@michellegomez.com. I have a Square store, but what is that link? I'll have that link in the show notes. But it's squareup.com/store/line-25, the number 25-consulting. If you go to that store and type in the code NWM, Networking with Michelle, you can have 25% off of anything. So that is including books, consultations, and all that kind of stuff. Also, there's an option to donate to the show. I don't mention that enough. But if you do think I provide you with some value, you can always donate to the show. If you're not able to, if you feel like you don't need any of the services at the time. Okay. Very excited. This weekend on the 18th, I'm doing a private LinkedIn training. In April, I should be going back to Texas Southern University, so I'm already looking forward to that, trying to finalize those dates. April 24th and 25th, I should be doing a social media marketing event. I think that's going to be a private event. April 25th, C-STEM, which is a STEMcast podcast led by Dr. Reagan Flowers. She's having her breakfast and C-STEM challenge day, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't know how I'm going to pull that off, but that's coming up. Always like seeing with my clients. Like, I love celebrating my clients. I'm blessed to work with the people that I work with. And then later on that week, on April 26th through the 29th, I should be in New York for the Womeneur conference, which is held on Friday, April 27th. So I'm looking forward to that. And just getting in front of some new women, a new demographic, new city, and just Sharon Beason, man, I've been following her online for probably maybe about 6 months, and this woman is a beast. And she has a new book out. I don't have my phone next to me. I can't think of the title, but I'll definitely have the link to her book in the show notes. And it's a great business book, especially if you're starting from scratch and you're trying to get things in order. She is the go-to person for that. So I want to encourage you to check her out. Get the book on Kindle, work your way up to the monthly membership group, and then make your way to the conference. And if you're in New York, I want to meet you. All right. I definitely want to see you. What else is going on? I think that's enough. That's what's going on in the next 6 weeks. I'm excited about my future. I'm excited about yours. I want to hear nothing but good things from you. Success is ours. Success is ours. We own it, and it is our God-given right to have abundance. It's a God-given right to have abundance, and however you desire to pursue that abundance, whether it's through entrepreneurship, if you're an employee with a side hustle, it is our God-given right to have success on our own terms, and to share that success with our family, friends, and community. And with that being said, I believe in you. One more again, I believe in you. And a personal connection leads to an influential network. Thanks for networking with Michelle.